excited to have Natalie here to talk to us today about all things dating, relationships, limiting beliefs, all the things. Natalie, really quick, go ahead and give us a little introduction and little information about your background.
Absolutely. Hi, I'm Natalie Stavola. I have a background in psychology and communications, a little bit of criminology in there. I specialize in neurolinguistic programming, very similar like a Tony Robbins meets Hitch. And I specialize in addiction, trauma, limiting beliefs, overcoming them, dating and relationships, all things relationships. And I'm also a filmmaker too. So I get to merge the two areas.
That's so interesting. So how did you get into filmmaking?
Oh, that was ever since I was a kid. I'm very fascinated by human behavior and psychology, like why people do what they do. And so even ever since I was a kid, it was always on stage, always like watching people, always curious about them. And then when I got to college, I actually studied psychology and I was doing short films at the same time. So it was always something that was like just coinciding at the same time. And then when I graduated college, I was like, that's it. I'm all in, and moved to South Florida, got more heavily involved in just all sides of the filmmaking industry, as well as starting my own company as a life and dating coach for men and women too. But mostly I do coach men. And yeah, just human behavior, really.
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that because that was kind of why I studied psychology too. And I was always just so interested, like, okay, why is this happening? And I feel like a lot of that kind of comes from like personal experience and just not understanding people. And it's like, what's
That's
going
pretty
on
much
here?
it. Exactly.
Yeah,
There are some things going on and I don't get it. I need to study this. Yeah.
exactly. Now, how did you start working with men on dating?
That was something I fell into. I was working underneath someone at the time, and that's what they specialized in. And I think what it is that it's when men are directly hearing from women. And also, too, I'll be honest, like as a woman, we had so many coaches out there and so much help. We also have a lot of misinformation out there for women, too. Both sides, men and women, have like people out there that are giving them bad information because it's coming from a hurt or broken place. So it's manipulation
Interesting.
tactics. So I think for as a woman, like I don't know about you, but when I've got guy trouble, I go to a guy. I go to one of my male friends because they speak guy. They know guy. They can read someone, feel someone just like that. And even though I'm a
Totally.
coach, I specialize in reading people, right? But when I'm dating someone, my blind spots are out. I know a guy's going to be able to read a guy a lot faster. Vice versa is I coach men because I'm able to give them real things of like what a woman goes through, what's going on, what she means, how to communicate, how to set boundaries with a woman, how to pick the right woman, how to stop getting the toxic female or the broken individual or like a project and not a partner, and what they've got to do in order to become that partner too. So they're hearing it directly from a woman. So they're like, okay, got it.
That
This
totally
isn't
makes
just, yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting too, just like thinking about a man seeking out a dating coach. And I'm kind of curious, like what are some of the biggest problems you see them struggling with in dating?
I think the number one problem I see, and I think it's for women too, is broken picker. Broken picker,
Interesting.
broken picker, broken picker. When whatever you feel about yourself secretly on the inside, you can blow smoke up your bum all you want to. I don't know if we can swear, maybe not.
You can,
But
yeah.
okay, you can blow smoke up your ass all you want to, but if you can't sit there and consciously be walking around the world going, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, but in the back of your mind, you don't actually believe it. Because what happens is whatever you date, whoever you date, whatever is happening outside of you is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. It's a reflection of your wounds. It's a reflection of your trauma. It's a reflection of just all of it. Or if you've been working on yourself, of your healing. So the number one thing that I see the most of is we attract what we vibrate at. And some people think that because the only women or the only men that they've dated is a toxic woman or a gold digger or a jerk or an a-hole, that they think that that's what all women are or what all men are. And it's like, no, sorry. The ones who have
That's so
healed are
true.
watching you in the rat race and you just spinning your wheels, because it will cause a cognitive dissonance. It will literally cause your brain to melt. If you walk into a room and you truly believe on the inside of you that all women are toxic or all men are toxic, if you were to walk into a room full of people or even just meet a few people who were amazing quality, didn't lie, your brain would melt because you wouldn't believe it. You would test them, you would sabotage it, you would doubt them, you would question them. And honestly, they would just walk away because they'd go, I'm not going to get near that. Like, you don't believe
Yeah.
me. You don't. So it's the same thing with like flat earthers, for instance. When your programming is, it's just the easiest one. But when your programming is like, people have come in and told you over and over and over again, you know, the earth is flat, the earth is flat, they're all lying to you. Or if you've been told over and over again and shown a little bit of like, oh, here's a piece of paper, it's a flat piece of paper, so it must be a flat. And you're like, okay. If you've only known and seen toxic relationships because that's what your family was like, then like that's the only thing that you're going to see. And when someone comes in to show you something differently, you'll freak out. So you
That's
have to do
so
the internal work
interesting.
first. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I feel like I've heard before, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like with dating, like especially if you come from more of a, chaotic background or you've had those toxic relationships, it's almost
Mm,
like I've heard when you find somebody that doesn't give you those butterflies or that kind of like anxiety, that a lot of times we're like, oh, this isn't the right relationship. When in reality,
correct.
isn't that healthy?
Yes and no. So here's what also
Okay.
happens. Yes
Uh-huh.
and no. Sometimes the thing is that you won't actually get into a healthy relationship that you actually enjoy because you might be secretly, your subconscious is needing safety. So you might have gone with
Mm,
someone complacent, which is boring. You're,
interesting.
and they might not be complacent for someone else, but for you guys, you're a mismatch. So it's boring essentially. Let's say that I'm a snowboarder and I love going to and traveling the world, but I've dated a lot of toxic people, right?
Hmm.
If all of a sudden I've dated a lot of toxic people and I'm like, I'm done with this, I'm going to go healthy, but I don't actually do the inner work, but I'm seeking safety and I'm seeking a really safe person, I'll date someone that stays home all the time, doesn't travel, doesn't believe in traveling. And I'll be like, see, look at that. Healthy is boring. And it's like, no, it's not. You just didn't date someone. You didn't date another snowboarder who travels the world who's also done the work on themselves. So there's a
Yeah.
middle ground. You usually go from one extreme to the other, which is fine. You'll ping pong until you have had enough and you've hit your ass enough or hit your head on the wall enough. And then eventually you do the work, heal, figure it out, start dating slowly, get to know someone, see if there's alignment. Because that's honestly, when we're dating people who are in alignment with us, who are amazing, who have done the work on themselves, who like, it could be like a real thing. That is what's really scary because then you open up to that and that's incredible. That's a
Hmm.
lifelong partnership. That's what scares the shit out of people. Because if you lose something like that's what people are really scared of.
That's really interesting. So how do you kind of tell if maybe you're in one of those like boring, complacent relationships and you've jumped to the other extreme? Like what are some signs that maybe you've done that?
Your body will naturally kind of tell you. The number one thing though, and the easiest way to tell is you have to be meeting your emotional needs and physical needs first. It'll be the easiest way to be able to tell what's outside of you, if it's a match or a mismatch. Because if you're not doing anything, if you're a snowboarder and a traveler, but you're not doing it and you're not going out and you're not, and, or if you have emotions coming up and you're not processing those, then what's going to happen is you're going to become codependent or extremely resentful at your partner because you're going to blame them for your emotions or lack of, activities in your life where it's like, that's not your mom. That's not your dad. That's your
Hmm.
responsibility. So the first way is you want to meet your emotional needs first and meet your physical needs. That way you're like, ooh, I feel really good. Like I'm filling myself up. Now let's see who's in front of me. Does this person make my nervous system haywire? Does it feel like dopamine hits? Do I feel like they message me, then fall off, and then don't reply for 3 days, and then pop up out of nowhere? Am I getting disregarded? Am I getting disrespected? That's where we've hit the extreme of like that person might be emotionally unavailable, dismissive, avoidant, on the narcissistic scale. I don't want to throw that buzzword around, but you can have that. Everyone's got something in them, but how
Hmm.
much does this person have? So that's when you'll be able to tell like, ooh, I know I feel good with myself and I'm giving myself my needs and I'm meeting my needs. This person's making me feel like what I do is never good enough. They're breaking boundaries. They're constantly disappearing. The communication is bad. It's like, I don't feel like oh, I don't feel like we're in alignment here. The
Mhm.
other one is like, if you are with someone who's complacent or boring, where it's like, okay, this person is not having any hobbies, they're not showing up for themselves, they constantly put themselves down. Um, you guys are going different places. Like, let's say that he wants a family, but you don't, right? Two different,
Yeah.
you're never going to go the same place. Eventually, you're going to break up. How long
Mhm.
you hang on for is going to dictate and determine how much pain you stay in. But do we have the same core values? That will help you determine whether or not you're in a complacent one or in a misaligned or aligned one. Core values are
Mhm.
things like family, integrity, honesty, communication, respect, spirituality, travel, freedom, humanitarianism, joy, humor. So identify the top 5 ones that are really important to you. And then that way you'll be able to kind of ask questions when you're dating and find out what the core values of that person are, and you'll see if there's a
Interesting.
match.
Yeah. And I feel like, when you're kind of talking about all of these things, it's making me think about just like even stories I've heard from like girls that are dating. And I feel like just kind of some version of this story is something I hear a lot where there's a guy they're talking to, they tell them all the things and they feel like, okay, we're so aligned on XYZ or those values that you've talked about. And then all of a sudden communication stops or it starts to dwindle. And it's like, what happened there? And so since you work with a lot of men, what would you say, what is happening there? Like, why did they just kind of slowly fade away?
Okay, so men and women do this, by the way. It's both.
Interesting.
So I want
Okay.
everyone to know this too. It is not just a men do this and women do this. Oh my God. When I started, by the way, when I first started coaching, I was like that. I was like, men are like this and women are like this. No, we're not. And no, they're not. Socially, depending on where you're from and where you're born and what culture and what ethnicity, we are given extra limiting beliefs or extra like, quirks, extra
Mhm.
things, extra trauma to overcome, or just like programmed a certain way. So men are taught that you're not allowed to have emotions, you're only allowed anger, right? So they go more internalized and then rage, right? We have more of that because that's the only thing we've accepted in our society for men. For women, you're not allowed to be sexual in any way. You're not allowed to have a fucking body, but you're supposed to be sexualized and be okay with it. You're told what to do if you don't have a man and 2 kids by the age of 30. There's something wrong with you. If you want a career, you're a bitch. If you don't, then you don't know who you are. It's like, so 27, at the age of 27, women usually freak out and blow up some things and then come back to center. And at 30, they feel more grounded. So
Mhm.
when I started coaching and dating, I realized we are all human. We are so all human. It's not even funny. How it manifests might look slightly differently. Of how I human might be a little different than how you human. But the reasons why, like, I don't feel good enough, I don't feel safe, I don't feel worthy or seen, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not safe, I'm going to be left, I'm going to be abandoned, all the same. Around the world, I've coached thousands of men all over the world and women. It's all the same.
That's
So
wild.
the reason why it happens where someone might ghost or fall off is because you invested too heavily, way too fast, and you treated it like a relationship and you were not treating it like dating. I actually give my clients a dating timeline. So the first 2 months, you should only be seeing someone once a week and talking to them about every other day. You do not talk to them every day. If it's too fast, too soon, and too intense, then it's gonna fall away just as intensely because that's just what you're doing is you're escaping in that person. You're not processing your own emotions. You're not still handling yourself. You're not actually like having a balanced life. What you just did was you told that man in this circumstance,
Mhm.
you're more important than my friends, my family, my career, and myself. Because I'm gonna
So
talk to
true.
you all the time, even though you're a freaking stranger. And I'm gonna clear my schedule because I'm desperate for attention. That's what and I used to do that.
Mhm.
And that's it. You're investing too fast, too soon in a stranger. Men do this as well too. And what happens is you're not finding the red flags. You're not going slow. You're not in reality. You're not grounded. You're usually like this and you're freaking out and you're constantly watching your phone and you're waiting for that dopamine hit of them texting you.
Mhm. That's so
So
true. And it's an
yeah.
I like how you put that because I feel like it makes so much sense when you say it, but then when you're caught up in everything or you're talking to your friends, it's like, oh my gosh, if they haven't texted you in 24 hours, they're not into you anymore. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
they're not.
that's
And
not
then
true.
you get in your head about it.
That's not true at all. First 2 months, if you're texting every day, it's not the healthiest. That's like, you don't have a life? You don't have friends? There are
Hmm.
7 areas of life to maintain balance. 7. Spirituality, work and finance, meaning how you pay the bills, career, meaning your life purpose, family, non-toxic family members, I say, friends, hobbies, and relationships. That's a small freaking piece of the pie. Small.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
when you're dating people, you should be like, it's recommended, and I recommend this. And I did not like this at first. It felt like I was cheating on someone.
Hmm.
But I realized I started learning and healing and going, oh my God, date 3 up to, at the most, 3 people at a time, once a week per person.
I like
So if
that.
you have 3 people that you are dating, that is like, you don't speak to them that often though in the beginning. It's like little check-ins, but you're getting to
Hmm.
know them in person. You're setting up the date. You're finding
Hmm.
out who they are on the date. Too many people are rushing it because they're scared and they're trying to lock them in. And what that does is it shows that it's like, I don't value myself. I don't value my time. I don't have anything going on.
It's funny you say that because I had this girl that I worked with a couple years back, probably like 4 years ago, and she was dating literally the same exact thing. She was dating like 3 guys at one time. She wasn't too like emotionally invested in either of them, but she was just doing
Right.
different things, kind of seeing how they fit into her life. And then she picked one of them, and she was totally honest with all of them. And it was something to
Yeah.
me that was almost kind of shocking because, like you said, we're almost made to feel like we're like cheating on somebody if you are
Yeah.
dating a couple people and talking to them at one time.
Yeah. And I used to feel the way. And also, I want to be very clear about this too. No manipulation tactics. None. Zero. Zero, zero,
Hmm.
zero. Men get taught stupid manipulation tactics that I have to constantly undo. Women get taught stupid manipulation tactics. No. You don't talk to them every day, not because it's manipulation. It's because you have to allow, you don't have to, but I would recommend you, it would be nice if you did. Regulating your nervous system and allowing your dopamine to crash. When you are with someone that you are attracted to, your dopamine spikes and it's very difficult to see clearly sometimes. So you
Hmm.
need that next day when you first meet someone that's new and exciting. You need that next day. You can do like a quick check, like, had a great time. He'll text you, I had a great time with you, would love to see you and set something up for this weekend. I'll text you tomorrow. Sounds great. You need that time to let your hormones crash and let yourself crash and then regulate and come back to neutral and just feel all the feelings, because otherwise you're going to get addicted to that butterfly high.
Hmm.
And when you stay high, then what happens? I'm only going to get around guys that are not regulated, that keep me high and dopamine high. And what kind of men are, and women are, would that be? That want to constantly stay high, be high, have those dopamine, play with that. Like, oh, that's a toxicity. That's a trauma bond.
Hmm.
You're
That's so
entering too much
true.
in a trauma bond. Yeah. So it's, we
What
pull
are
back, we regulate, and then that way we can see the person clearly and actually feel inside of us, without our anxiety, whether or not someone's a good fit. But no
mhm.
manipulation tactics. You don't freaking wait 3 hours to text someone back. I always recommend this. Pause and breathe and just wait to text back until your heart rate regulates. Sometimes it'll take just 20 minutes. Sometimes it might take like an hour, it might, or sometimes it's not. Sometimes you're fine and you're in the middle of a conversation. Name of the game is
Mhm.
check in on your heart rate and your body and just regulate. So that way, when you do text something, you don't feel stupid after.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because I think that a lot of times and I guess this is kind of a question too. Like I feel like women we get so ahead of ourselves and like planning out our future where somebody's like, "Okay, cool. They
Oh my
check
God. Yeah.
that box, that box, that box. I'm attracted to them. We're good to go." Do you see men getting ahead of themselves like that
All
too?
of the time. Girl, I was
Really?
waiting every day. You guys,
That's
okay.
interesting.
Here's the thing. Women do that. And then, but what happens is when you don't value yourself, you'll get around guys and women too. You'll get around other people who don't value you and it's not because you're
Mhm.
not good enough. It's because they don't love themselves. They can't show
Yeah.
up. They hate themselves. So you're going to only get around people. If it's like, I hate myself, I'm going to get around people who also hate themselves. And guess what? They're going to treat you the way they treat themselves. Period.
Mhm.
Everyone is going to treat you the way that they treat themselves. If I hate me, I'm going to not be able to really treat you with love. I don't have any in here.
Yeah.
So with women that are focusing that way and getting those type of men, the men who are like, damn, I really want love and I'm scared that I don't deserve it, they're over here and they're with a woman that they're attracted to, doing the exact same, marrying them 20,000 times in their head, over committing too soon. I'm like, guys, no.
That's so funny. I honestly, I feel like we so often tell ourselves that they're not attached or they're not as into it. And it's so interesting that they do that same exact thing in their head.
Same thing. Same exact thing. Usually if you run into anyone who's emotionally unavailable, and like very like, nope, I don't want anything. I don't want anything. First of all, red flag, get away. But the reason why is also because they've been seriously, brutally broken and hurt. But that doesn't mean, oh, yay, I'll fix them. It means you're about to get the venom that they haven't puked out yet. Get away
Mhm.
from the dumpster fires. But usually it's also because they're severely codependent and they
Mhm.
actually attach too much. So they went, remember we talked about extremes. They went extreme codependent with someone who was toxic. So now they're going extreme hyper independent, which is also toxic until you heal and come back to that middle ground. So when we're dating, you're also seeing, I want that middle ground that like, ooh, I got, my ride or die. Like we're going forward, not ping ponging this stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like the hard thing too, when you start dating somebody, can also be trying to figure out, first of all, for yourself, like, okay, am I healed from my last relationship? And is this person healed? Because people might heal at different, rates. How can you tell if somebody really is ready to continue dating or if you're ready to continue dating after a previous relationship?
I think if you've given yourself an adequate amount of time based on the amount of time that you're together with that person. It depends on how much you allowed yourself to kind of be still and just feel some shitty shit. And then go back
Hmm.
over some boundaries, and learn what you learned and kind of have that. Once you're in that place of gratitude where you're like, you know what? I'm grateful for my past. I just don't ever have to repeat it again. That's pretty good. Once you enter into a new relationship with someone and you guys have gone past the dating phase and then you go into the power struggle phase and then you go into the commitment phase, you're going to open yourself up to someone and the rest of your can of worms will get reflected to you. That's just the whole point of relationships is it opens up our Pandora's box from childhood, all of our things. Our job though is to find and match with the person that we're safe to make mistakes with so that we can do it together. How you can identify that is you'll listen to the way that this person talks about others. It takes some time because you're going to see do words match actions and you just can't fully tell that within the first month. You can tell though, let's say you're talking to someone and within the first 3 dates, you should be finding out, hey, where are you at? And what are you looking for? And if they're like, oh, I just got out of something or, oh, I'm only looking for something casual. If you're not, that's not an alignment. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean I'll just keep dating them until like they eventually are like, I'm ready. No, that means that like if you stay with that person, they're going to have no reason to process their emotions. They get to be in a fake relationship with you. Now you have a situationship, but you agreed to it. Those are the terms and
Hmm.
conditions. I'm not going to commit to you because I haven't done the inner work. And you're going, okay. As someone who still has to work on her people pleasing, right? We all have a journey. People pleasing usually means that I'm not good with boundaries. And it depends on the level of people pleasing. If it's constantly people pleasing, it means I don't take care of myself, right? I don't put myself as a priority. So if I'm dating you and we get super connected and we open up, it means that I'm going to treat you the way that I treat me. Now for me, I'm treating myself with disrespect. I'm not prioritizing my mental health. I'm not prioritizing myself. I'm not showing up for myself well. I'm constantly like giving my time out to everyone else. It means that this relationship isn't going to be safe unless I'm actively working on it. But it means that I'm going to
Hmm.
flake. I'm going to be late. I'm not going to take care of me. I'm going to fall apart. I'm going to get burnt out. So you're not going to have a good version of me. I'm also going to pick toxic people by accident because I'm people pleasing. So I'm going to say
Hmm.
yes and people please people who make me feel bad, inadequate, which means this between us, our container, not safe. So that means that like you're going to have to now deal with the bullshit I fucking won't.
That's so interesting. What role do you see like friendships playing in dating? Because I feel like your friends can have a lot of influence over what you think about your partner or how you handle conflict. So what have you kind of seen with that?
Your friendships dictate pretty much everything too. It's a reflection of
Mhm.
you. If you have friends that are secretly jealous of you and condescending, you got some mommy or daddy issues we got to work out, right? Because that
Mhm.
means that I'm familiar with disrespect and condescension and people like low key putting me down. So they're going to mostly be jealous over anyone else that gets your time and attention. So they're just going to be nasty. So
Mhm.
honestly, here's the other thing. They're also looking at who are they surrounded by?
Yeah.
Because that's a big tell of who you are. Are you surrounded by people who are cruel and mean or laugh at other people or sarcastic in a mean way? Or are you around people who are uplifting, empowered, have solid relationships? So it's more like that. It's more, your friendships are more of a reflection of you. So I wouldn't say that it's like, what do you do if my friend doesn't like this guy or whatever? Then it's like, I mean, first you have to see how is your friendship with that person and who is that person first.
Mhm.
And then is your person bringing up an honest point? If they're healthy, if your friend is healthy and has solid relationships, right? And great conflict resolution. They don't scream, they don't yell. They're very like, they uplift, they're empowered. You guys communicate and you're able to talk about the hard things. You don't feel like you walk on eggshells with them. Then it's like, okay, let me take a look at it. If she's saying that like Brian over here is disrespectful or cruel or weird or mean or whatever, then like, let me take a step back and let me like vet this out and see. But
Mhm.
first and foremost, for men and women, it's taking an honest look at like, who am I allowing in my life to begin with?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting too, like you point out, kind of like the jealousy aspect, or like if you start dating somebody, is this person going to have a clear perspective? Because are they maybe upset that now your time's divided, or maybe they're not in a relationship? So there's like so many different little factors that play into it. And I feel like one thing, I mean, at least with, I work on mental safety as well as like physical and situational stuff with
Yeah.
our community. And one thing we talk about a lot is confrontation, whether that's in a relationship or a friendship. How do you encourage people to approach confrontation or kind of knowing when to confront something or maybe when to just let it go?
I love this. So I would say that it's whenever you feel off, you're listening to your body more. The more that you can learn
Mhm.
how to like regulate, and I don't mean regulate in a way of avoiding your emotions. Sometimes regulate just means like allowing yourself 20 to 25 minutes just to allow to feel it and to let it pass. When
Mhm.
you feel off, let's say you're having a conversation with a friend or a lover or whatever, and you feel something like inside of you and you can't put your finger on it, but something feels off. You don't have to say anything in that moment. You can just go, hold on, I need like 20 minutes. Something's going on. I'm not. Or if you just can't, even say that yet, you just finish the conversation, go home, go to your room, do whatever, write it out. Journaling is one of the fastest ways to access your subconscious mind because it's attached to your brainstem. So it's pen to paper. Studies have been done on it for so long. It's called free association. Ask yourself a question
Wow.
and start writing. And then as you write, you're going to be like, damn, I had this conversation with, Dylan, and something came up in me when he talked about wanting to go hang out with his friends, and I felt really off. And then all of a sudden it comes up, oh, it's because we haven't had a date night in a while and I'm feeling like he's turning into my dad. My dad always used to pick everyone else over me. So this is kind of triggering me. Okay, let me just sit with that. And then it's my responsibility to meet my emotional needs first. That way, when I
Mhm.
come to the table and I speak, I'm going to be at neutral. I'm going to share information instead of dump my problems and dump my trauma on someone, right? So
Mhm.
I'm going to vet it out. I'm going to feel it. Damn, when I was a kid, I got left and abandoned a lot. And I used to pick a lot of people that abandoned me. And that sucked. But you know what? I'm here for me now. But so you know what? I'm going to have some boundaries here. Like I just don't get with people that we don't connect. But you know what? I can communicate with my partner. Hey, listen, it's really important for me to also us to have a solid connection, not just see each other randomly, but like continue to have date nights and feel like I'm still like we're still dating each other, even if I'm a year
Mhm.
in or 5 months in. So, all right, let me sit with this. Okay. And then if speaking up is very difficult for you, which it used to be for me, I
Mhm.
love this and I recommend this. Bullet point and write down what you want to say and what you need to say. You've already vetted it out. You've already journaled it out. You've already processed it. Now, what are the key bullet points? Hey, babe, when you talk about like every weekend you're going and you're hanging out with your friends, I love it. And I love your time with your friends. And I get time with my girlfriends. I'm feeling like we're missing a connection here. I could use a little bit more like romance and intentionality and us like really making sure that we're connecting with each other. Like I could use date night once a week. Can we do this? How do we do this? What's the solution here?
It feels like rational, not like you're acting on emotions, but you're kind of like going through that process and then also having a solution. And I know I have a problem with that. Sometimes I'm like explaining how I feel. And sometimes it's like, okay, but what is my point here? What do I
Exactly.
need?
I always, even when I journal in solution and I try and speak in solution. It was something that was taught to me a long time ago, which is like, all right, what's the solution here? And so here's the other thing, because I've done this and I do this in relationships where I'll go, hey, listen, I had one guy I was dating that would laugh. He'd be like, are we doing the bullet points? I'm like, yep, I got my bullet points. And he'd be like, all right, bring it on. And I'm like, okay, because he knows the scary things for me because I have a fear of abandonment that can come up every now and again. So I'm
Mhm.
scared if I use my voice, you're going to leave me. So I have my bullet points and I'll say the things that are really scary, but I know I need to say them because I vetted them out. I felt them. I processed them. I know they came from a place and I'll go to my coach. I'll go to my sponsor. I'll go to my spiritual advisor. I'll go to them if I'm not sure if it's at neutral and if I'm staying on my side of the street and if it's something I need to say, I'll go to them and I'll, make sure. But most of the
Yeah.
time now it's like once you get the hang of it, but I'll sit right there and I'll read it because even if my voice shakes, I'm going to say this because this is for what's better for the relationship because it's not fair if my partner is not expecting, but if my partner is dating a partner and not a project, then my partner is going to want to be with someone that doesn't just shove things down, walk on eggshells for no reason, and doesn't use her voice. That's not fair. That's not fair to expect my partner to read my emotions, read my mind, be magically perfect. Absolutely not. My partner
Mhm.
is going to be allowed and feel safe to make mistakes too, because he's going to trust that I'll speak up. Say with my friendships. We are safe places to make mistakes today with each other, and how you'll be able to tell if it's not when you go to read your bullet points and you say something, hey, you spend like every weekend with your friends and I love that. Is there a way that like I could use us time? Like I need us connecting too. Can we do once a week? And he was like, babe, you always do this. You always like try and make it about you and I can never have time with my friends and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, ooh, did I just get gaslit? Did I just get
Mhm.
diminished? Did I just get condescended to? Did I just get disrespected? Okay. And then it's like, okay. And now you might not be able to speak up right then because you're getting gaslit. So you might have to pause and then you take it to your advisors and they go, that's not okay. That's not
Mhm.
okay at all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Or if they continue to break the boundary, you have someone that you set a boundary with. Hey, no, when we're upset with each other, no hitting below the belt. Okay. Got it. I hear you. We'll never do that. Next time you guys get into a debate or a topic that's heated or conflict, and you're trying to go, hey, let's just take 5. I'm going to go for a walk. And they're like, fuck you. And you're like, okay, you broke the boundary.
Mhm.
We've
Yeah.
done this 3 times now. You broke the boundary. I am not emotionally, physically safe here. Gotta go. Anyway, that's how you know.
Yeah. Well, and I like that you point out two signs that maybe when you're having that confrontation, it's not the right person for whatever reason. Because I think that even in friendships too, like you could go to say something and then all of a sudden there's an excuse for every little thing. And it's like, okay, but this is just how I feel. Like this is just like what I need.
Yeah.
And you're making me feel crazy.
Right. It's very simple. And it's very simple like this. It's like, it's just the I feel statements. Hey, when you talk to Becky behind my back and you tell her things that I've shared with you, I feel like I'm not respected and I feel like I can't trust you with my words. Like I feel like we don't have a strong connection. It's like, oh my God, you're such a baby. You're so sensitive. Like that's not even what I did. Like I'm allowed to say whatever I want to. And you shared it with me and and then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and
Yeah.
I
As
appreciate too that
opposed to
you point.
like, yeah. Yeah, keep.
Yeah, I appreciate that you point out to the importance of having confrontation because I think that people forget why they need to. And I know you pointed out that you almost kind of owe it to the relationship, like you don't want them to have to walk around on eggshells or
Yeah.
anything like that. What are some other reasons for those people pleasers that are listening right now, people that like overthink a lot? what kind of like motivation can you give to them, or like pointers on why it's so important to have confrontation?
The one that keeps coming to mind is that it's like you might actually be doing something that's not okay or that's hurting the relationship or hurting yourself. And you might be justifying and rationalizing it. But because you're so afraid of confrontation, you're hiding because you're uncomfortable with emotions. You're uncomfortable being wrong. You're uncomfortable with someone going, hey, this makes me feel X, Y, and Z when you do this. So you're running to fixing your emotions by people pleasing others or by constantly being busy. So what it is you're not comfortable with yourself. And
Interesting.
people feel that. Or they're constantly running around and they're trying to prove themselves or whatever it is, but they're not comfortable with that confrontation. And what it means is that they're not comfortable with changing. They're not comfortable with acknowledging that, like, hey, something that you said or did hurts. And it's actually hurting yourself too. But instead they're more likely to be, like pushed back and not comfortable with it. So when we're
Yeah.
constantly people pleasing, it means that you're not comfortable with just being still and sitting with them, with some things, and like honestly growth, which means that
Hmm.
you're not a safe place. You're not
That's
fully
really
a safe
interesting.
place yet.
Yeah.
You're not. It's even for myself. Like if I'm constantly people pleasing, then if you come to me and you're upset with me, I'm not going to like that because that means you don't like me or something I did is wrong or bad. And I can't have that because that,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Now my childhood is triggered. So what that means is I'm not a safe place for you. I'm not a safe place for you to come to. Now, for people pleasers, it's like, yes, I can teach you and I can help you understand why talking to someone and bringing up your conflict is good. But honestly, it works both ways where it's like when you're a people pleaser or when you're like not facing your own stuff or you're not capable of sitting still and kind of sitting in the shadow and doing that shadow work, it means that you're not a safe place for someone to come to and go, hey, when you run around and you don't pay attention to yourself or to me, that hurts me,
Hmm.
you know? Or hey, when you're doing this thing and then you dismiss yourself, I noticed you dismiss me a lot. We do all have something inside of us that we get to undo. There is a programming here. Like if I grew up in a toxic childhood home where everyone was yelling and
Hmm.
saying disrespectful words, by accident, when I get into a relationship, I'm going to yell and do disrespectful words. I used to do that. So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with going, you know what? It didn't work for my parents. It wasn't good for me as a kid. You're right. I shouldn't have said that. My bad. How do we make this right? But
Hmm.
right now, the people pleasing thing is it's just an inability to sit with yourself. And what it is you dismiss yourself. You are disregarding your mental health. You are dismissing your boundaries. You are dismissing what you need. You're dismissing your emotions. You're dismissing your own physical needs. You are literally dismissing yourself. So when push comes to shove, when you're close to me, or anything, or just naturally when I'm just la 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 walking around the world, I'm going to treat others the way that I treat me. So if I dismiss me, I'm accidentally going to dismiss you.
Hmm. Well, and I think
That.
that, like you said, when you're not confident, then when people come to you, you get so defensive because you don't want to, like you said, be disliked or maybe think that something could
Yes.
be wrong with you. And you're so combative. And then it's like, okay, we can't get anywhere now.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, woo, I've had that. And I've had to, so whenever someone's come to me
Same.
and they've had things, yeah, I'll get like, I can get defensive and I have to breathe through it and know that it's like, it's okay. We're safe. This is a safe place. It's okay. That happens. We do have trauma or we've been dismissed our whole lives or we were told if you did something wrong, it's your fault, right?
Hmm.
It's okay. You just breathe through it and you're like, wait a minute. This person is allowed to like speak up and see. And then I can see like, you know, is there something that I get to work up and show up better for? And this is what I noticed that was been amazing. The better that I've shown up for myself, I even have a reminder that goes off on my phone every day for this, by the way.
Hmm.
The better that I've been able to show up for myself and make myself a priority, meaning listening to myself, feeling my emotions, doing my inner child work, reparenting, just doing the next right indicated action, pausing more, slowing down, meditation, journaling, just doing the silly things that I love too, going to comedy, going to get a massage, seeing my friend. The better that I've taken care of me, the better that I've treated other people around me.
That makes so much sense. And I think sometimes we forget about why those things are so important.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, I don't know if you watch Love is Blind, but I know one big thing that people have been talking about is like having like guys having really close friends that are girls or girls having really close friends that are guys. And I'm curious
Yeah.
what your take is on that, or if you think that that's like healthy versus unhealthy, at what point? Like, what is your perception?
Super healthy. If you are capable of doing it. If you're not capable of doing it, don't worry about it. It doesn't
Hmm.
there's some people, there's some men that and women that like can't be friends with the opposite sex because they're too attracted to them and they're uncomfortable with that. Fine, totally fine. It's you're checking in with yourself and seeing what, like, how do I honestly feel? Am I only friends with this person because I secretly want to sleep with them or I secretly want to date them? Then that's manipulation. That's the only thing that I'll
Hmm.
say is that, like, if you were dating someone and you guys both genuinely are like, we are not attracted to each other, there is nothing here, we are only friends, sure. If you never dated someone, this a guy or a girl, and both of you guys are like, oh my god, this is a solid friendship and we have clear friend boundaries, great. If you've dated
Hmm.
someone or you're talking to a girl or a guy but you are attracted to them, I don't recommend being friends. Unless it's like, you know what, this is an attractive person, but I can switch it off completely. And there are severe boundaries. We do not hit on each other. We do not flirt with each other. No sexy texts back and forth. None of that. It's
Hmm.
about being honest with yourself. That way, the container of friendship is safe.
That makes sense. And I feel like if you're honest with yourself, your partner can sense that too, where they wouldn't feel uncomfortable or insecure with the relationship. And if they do, then maybe you don't have those boundaries or things thought through.
Correct. Correct. This is also where guys can spot guys faster and women can spot women faster. So let's say that like
Totally.
if I'm dating a guy and I've got male friends around me and if I trust this guy, he's been vetted out. Now I know my male friends are safe. We have very clear boundaries, whatever. But let's say that I have a couple other guys around me or something. If the guy that I'm with is like that guy and those two over there, not safe. They don't want to be friends. They secretly want something more with you. I'm like, they're done. They're out. Bye. Because the safety of the
Yeah.
container is way more important to me. Way more important. But I won't be able to tell. I won't always be able to feel that because it can be because I'm reading it differently. Versus like women to women, we can read a woman faster. We know our manipulation
Hmm.
tactics. We know our sly little remarks. We know our body language. A woman can read a woman because we know our cues and body language a lot faster. So do guys,
Totally.
right? So if you're, with a guy and like there's some of your girlfriends, for instance, a guy could sit there and tell you, hey, two of your friends aren't your friends.
And that's a hard realization, but it's like, oh.
Right? But this is, provided you vetted this person out and this person is someone that you trust
Hmm.
and they're not triangulating, right? You can't trust
Hmm.
that person, you can't trust that person, right? So this is
Yeah.
something that it's like you vetted this person out, you trust them, other people, like it's like they're helping you, encourage you with other partnerships and friendships. They're including you in things. They're not disrespectful, they're not condescending. They are like you're meeting new people and creating new friendships and they love that and they support that.
Hmm. Now, as we kind of like finish out here, is there anything else, like when you're thinking about just dating or even, I know we kind of spoke on friendships a little bit in your relationship with yourself, anything else that you really want to make sure that young women today really know and kind of live in suit of?
Self-worth. Self-worth, self-worth, self-worth. There's a book that I'm reading right now
Hmm.
that goes over the difference between self-confidence, which is external validation, versus self-worth, which is internal validation. If I am internally validating myself, that means external doesn't matter. That means a guy can come in and come out. And I've gotten to that place where like if a guy doesn't like me, I'm not like, oh my God, is there something wrong with me? I'm literally like, okay, great. There's like a 6 billion, 7 billion people on the planet. I don't, you know what I mean? I want to find my tribe,
Yeah.
not people please someone that doesn't like my time. When you feel worthy on the inside, your external life will reflect the worthiness that you feel inside of you. So when you feel worthy, and I don't mean like, yeah, I'm the shit. I don't mean fake. I mean like
Mhm.
I deserve things and I deserve love just like you do, and we're all on this together, and like I value myself, I respect myself. And respecting yourself doesn't mean I don't sleep with anyone. That's not what that means. It means that like
Mhm.
whether I do or don't, my prerogative, whether you do or you don't, that's your prerogative. I I trust myself. I'm listening to myself. I'm validating myself. I'm giving myself beautiful words. I'm there for myself. My foundation, our foundation as a human is that self-worth. You know?
Mhm.
It's very simple. I'm worthy and deserving of love and beautiful things just like the rest of us, right? So,
Yeah.
self-worth first. And then the confidence will come and go because sometimes you're going to have a heartache, or sometimes you're going to lose out on a job, or sometimes something's going to fall apart, but it won't shake your foundation, and you know that you can get that confidence tomorrow or the next day or whatever. You can pull it back.
Mhm.
You know, confidence is like I won an award. Self-worth is like whether I get that award or not, I'm so freaking proud of myself.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's so
Yeah, that
important, especially for young women.
yeah. And then the award is inevitable, but that self-worth,
Mhm.
that will have your external world reflecting whatever's going on inside of you. And no matter what, even if you're anxious or worried or afraid, that's totally okay. That doesn't mean that you're going to block your blessings, or you're going to not manifest. Or you're not worthy. That's not, we're all human. So as a human being, you are going to feel anxious, insecure, afraid, alone, jealous, envious, all of it. Those are pains. You're
Mhm.
supposed to be a human being. That does not
Yeah.
distract from worthiness. Um, so just knowing that it's like no matter where you've come from, no matter what's happened to you, no matter what you've done, doesn't matter. You are still worthy and deserving of everything in this world. All of
Mhm.
it. And I don't care what your
I
thoughts
love
say, those
that.
are just annoying little things anyway. But get a coach.
Well, and on that note, I first of all just love your energy and I love your takes on things because I feel like there's a lot of these things that we do here. And like you said, there's a lot of misinformation that goes around with these things. But I feel like the way that you explain it, it just like clicks and makes so much sense. And if other people are having this like same feeling that I'm having recording this with you, where can they find you, or what are some like resources that you have available that if somebody wanted like your help in dating?
Absolutely. My website is lovecoach247.com. So you can find out more information of me there if you're looking more for the coaching side. I'm mostly on Instagram at Natalie Stavola. I have a coaching Instagram, but I'm terrible at it. I'm mostly on at Natalie Stavola. And, you'll see my filmmaking things on there too, some of my coaching things. But I'm more active on there, and that's where you can really kind of see everything and get the information.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And we'll have everything linked in the show notes too for people to easily click on it and find you. I just really appreciate you coming to share all of your expertise.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really love this. Thank you, Kaylee.
Of course.